Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. As you know, I just got my internet back. Thank God I can finally watch my wrestling shows. So, as we always do on a Thursday, we have TNA Wrestling. As you know, we come off in the aftermath of Against All Odds with the system once again reigning supreme with their usual tactics. However, what's next from here? Well, looks like Santino Marella has an idea for Moose coming up in Slammiversary. And then, of course, we have some interesting matches involving that and other things as well. And then, of course, we move on with Ring of Honor featuring, of course, two title matches. The ROH World Tag Team titles are defended. The Undisputed Kingdom, Bennett and Taven defend their belts against 2.0, Daddy Magic and Cool Ange. And we'll see if we'll have new tag team champions or we still got our reigning ones. And then, of course, we have the 2 out of 3 falls for the ROH World Television title between Lee Johnson and Kyle Fletcher. And then, of course, a bit of breaking news coming from Athena herself as well. Then we cap up our episode with, of course, some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, and including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real-time news up to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, it's hammer time. So let's begin with our very first review, TNA. Okay, TNA. As you know, we come off after Against All Odds this past Friday. Now, I did not review this pay-per-view until the following day, but let's begin what happened. As you know, as usual, the system consistent Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and his main squeeze, Alicia Edwards, once again tried to show why the system works, but the fans were not having it, so they continued to boo, disrespecting them. However, Santino Marella, as you know, had some things to say. As you know, basically, he felt that certain things did not go well because apparently there was constant interference and all that. But the real question we ask ourselves after a pay-per-view like Against All Odds, where do we go from here? Well, the next place we go is Slammiversary. So we are now, as we say, in day one of that. So Santino thought, let's put the champion himself against 5 others in a 6-way match. Now Moose had that smirk on his face, of course, believing that he'll walk out of it. But however, there will be 5 matches to make qualifiers, and our main event is part of that. So we'll see where that leads us. But Santino did warn Moose to keep an eye on this match. Now, as you know, the ABC came off a good win this past Friday at Against All Odds. So now they're very focused and rejuvenated to finally make their way back to the TNA World Tag Team title. So they know they got to go go a few more matches in order to get themselves back on the conversation. So we'll see where that leads us. Now, our next match is a women's knockouts tag team match. We have the former champions Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Danny Luna taking on the Hex, Marty Bell, and and Allison Kay. Now, don't forget, Spitfire recently lost their tag belts against Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. Now they're trying to make their way back into that conversation again in order to get another opportunity of this belt. But however, it was Spitfire that picked up the win, all thanks to Jody Threat, with a very interesting combo between Dan Lino and then Jody Threat. And Jody Threat put away, of course, Marty Bell to pick up the win. Now, an exclusive video of the Hardys, including, of course, Jeff being involved, Jeff, Matt, and of course Rebecca, Matt's wife, were not happy how the results were. In fact, that took place at Against All Odds. So you may think this is not over, but we'll see where that goes from here on out. Now, once again, Alan Angels, with his obnoxious behavior, he decided to do the sound check to ask Kushida about his recent development. Now, don't forget, a while back, he was infected by this black ink that went into his mouth, all thanks to Gresham since his return. And then, of course, we saw that black ink coming out of his mouth at an TNA Explosion, and then we saw him take an example, saying that he was trying to find out what it is to come up with the cure for that. Now, Alan Angels did not believe, this crap, so they decided to have a match over this one. Now, our next match is a Chicago street fight. We got Ace Steel taking on Frankie Kazarian. Of course, there was going to be a lot of violence involved in this match. A lot of things will be playing out, and that's what exactly was going to be. But it was Frankie Kazarian with the Fate to Black onto Ace and picked up the win. But however, he wanted to dismantle him and decided to put an end to him. But luckily, Joe Hendry showed up and saved the day. So I'm sure Kazarian is not happy, but he is determined to make his way to the top. And I'm sure Hendry is one of those guys too on that conversation. Now, after what happened before the match he had at Against All Odds, Mustafa Ali is still being looked at after that footage of what he said. So basically, Singh tried to reason with them, but of course, Mustafa Ali making it look like it was his idea, that sort of thing. So we'll see about that. Now, we've been expecting this for quite a while, the date between Steph the Landers and PCO. We all thought it was going to be a nice romantic time, but First Class decided to get involved and cause all kinds of hell. But they were able to tie up PCO in the corner side of the ring, while that piece of fat garbage, AJ Francis, decided to chokeslam Steph the Landers through a table, leaving PCO helpless to save her. I'm sure PCO will get his revenge for what he did. So, if I was AJ Francis, be aware. Now, our next match, we have Heather Reckless versus Ash by Elegance. So, as you know, Ash by Elegance has one thing in mind. It's the TNA Knockouts World title. But, of course, she picked up the win with the Swanton Bomb and then decided to, of course, to break more of Heather until Jordan Grace showed up to intervene. But that idiot of Consigliere, let's just call him the Stooge, he gets involved, and then, of course, Jordan Grace was attacked from behind by Ash once again. But of course, after this whole mess, Jordan Grace said that she had enough of Ash and decided she's going to have a little chat with Santino Marella. So we'll see where that goes from here. Now, our next match, we have that stupid turncoat Dango go on against Ryan Menth. Now, don't forget, Dango screwed the Meneth brothers at the tag team title match at Against All Odds. So this is kicking revenge that Ryan Bennett is going to have. So you would think that's what's going to be, but no, Dirty Dangle decided to low blow Ryan with the ropes and picked up and then applied the dirty down and dirty, picking up the win until post match the System showed up. Then Nick Menace showed up to the clean house. So we'll see what happens, but you can tell this is not over with the Menace boys. Now our main event is the Road to Slammiversary qualifier match. Now this is one of 5 matches that will determine who will be in that 6-way match against Moose for the TNA World Title. We have former champions involved, Eric Young and Josh Alexander. I have to say, what an insane match. I mean, everything was perfect the way it was. I mean, you can tell these men were determined to pick up the top, but the real question is who was going to go. Well, at the end, it was Josh Alexander with the C4 spike. Just like that, it was over. And then, of course, Eric Young showed his respect to not only, someone he likes working with, but also another fellow Canadian just like himself. So, that was a pretty good match. So, I think that's pretty much it with TNA. I believe it's time for Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. Opened up with Aaron Solo versus Teton. I mean, it's great to see Teton in Ring of Honor. I mean, we have been expecting to see possibly any CML talent making their way to either to AEW or Ring of Honor since they're both owned by the same person. That's the thing. But nonetheless, the match was pretty okay. It opened up very well, but it was Teton who picked up the win with the Immortal, which is known as the double foot stomp, but that's what he calls it, El Immortal. So, our next match, we have Griff Garrison, Cole Carter, and Anthony Green taking on Serpentico and, of course, the Infantry. So, you would think that this is going to be a very interesting match. Now, don't forget, of course, Griff and Carter does have some history with, of course, Serpentico in the past. But, nonetheless, that will be a serious payback, but for some odd reason, we saw Griff Garrison once again with his usual tactics whack Serpentico with the chair on the back, allowing for Anthony Henry to pick up the win. Now, Athena comes out to do a minion emergency empowerment, a minion empowerment meeting to inform the entire Ring of Honor universe that she'll be out of action between 4 to 5 months due to an injury. However, she refuses to give up the title. But however, 2 people don't buy that she's injured. They believe that, of course, she's faking it, that she's running away from them. And they brought back, of course, what happened during the Ring of Honor World Women's Television title tournament, Billy Starks, but later, of course, Queen Aminata shoved Billy Starks to Athena. Now, the real question is this really for real, or this was another ploy by Athena? So that's the good question. So we will see what happens. Now, our next match. Now, we never seen him make a singles match before, but now we get to see him. Jacob Watts being accompanied by Nick Camarado. He faces against Brandon Cutler. Cutler won with his shenanigans, pissed off Jacoby Watts, but Jacoby Watts picked up a good win by applying a stunner. So I'm sure Nick and Matt are not happy with probably for him losing to someone like him, but it just did. Next, we have The Problem versus Maggie Minerva. So basically, nothing too significant about storyline, but however, we do know that Marina Shafir, from what Ian Riccaboni and Coleman Caprice do believe, if there's the possibility that Athena may have to relinquish the women's title belt, Marina Shafir will definitely have her sights in. So I think this would be a different type of a match that they got to pay attention to. Now, ahead of their title match with 2.0, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, as you know, they had some words to say towards, of course, Daddy Magic and Cool and Ange. So basically, we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have the Iron Savages and Jack Jamison taking on Isaiah Harris, Jay Molston, and Eric Isley I hope I pronounced it right. But anyway, this match, of course, I figured this was going to end with the Iron Savages and Jack Jamison. But oh my god, they used Boulder like a rocket off of the Dan turnbuckle onto Molston to pick up the win. Now, our next match, we have Everybody Dies, Lance Archer with Dion Russman. I have to say, what a good match. It showed like these two are big men. Now, the obvious thing is, Russman did not make this one an easy type match for Lance Archer, but Archer was able to turn this around and apply the black hole, and just like that, it was completely over. Everybody dies. Now, we had a very special video message coming from none other than CML's talent, Atlantis Jr. He basically said that he will be keeping an eye out on the winner of the Ring of Honor World Television title between Fletcher and Lee Johnson. He wants the winner to come down to his turf in Mexico and defend the belt. So that's going to be interesting to see. So we'll see. Next up, we have Diamante versus Layla Hirsch. Now, of course, officially on record, Diamante has never defeated Layla Hirsch, so this could be a first time ever. But remember, Layla Hirsch, when she came back, things were not looking good for her. She kept losing. But however, she continued with her competitive edge. As always, instead, none of her usual playbooks was able to play out for her because Diamante was well prepared for it. But of course, but it was of course the unexpected move from Layla Hirsch with the how do I say this? Oh yeah, the inside cradle that sealed the deal for the win. But like people always say, no one can stand a loser, from a loser at all. So Diamante decided to attack Layla Hirsch to send a clear message. Now, our next match, we have the ROH World Tag Team Titles 2.0 and United Kingdom. I have to say, the match was pretty good. It showed how much, of course, Daddy Magic and Coolidge wants this, but however, the usual tricks by Bennett and Taven played out by bringing out the belts in hand. Things didn't go well for 2.0 because it was Bennett who applied a schoolboy on Daddy Magic, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match is our main event, the ROH World Television title in a 2 out of 3 falls. Lee Moriarty versus Kyle Fletcher. Now, the first fall goes to Fletcher by pinfall, and then the second fall goes to Johnson. So basically, it just went that way. But however, the third fall was insane. We saw many things. Lee Johnson refuses to stay down, but it was, of course, a super brainbuster on the top corner of the ring that put away Johnson, allowing Fletcher to apply the win. And just like that, he retained the belt. So most likely, he could be on his way to Mexico to defend the belt against Atlantis Jr. So we'll leave things like that as it is with our review on this review. Let's move on with our news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin. Now, we only have updates coming from GCW, so this will be a bit of a smaller one for all of you. So we have, of course, for the Asbury Park show on August 4th, Can I Trust You? They announced that tag team known as Legion, the Legion of Rot, will be making the return to GCW, so we will see them there. Now, those who are big fans of this awesome Yoshi wrestler, Maki Ito makes her return to GCW. She'll be doing 9 shows throughout the starting in August all the way to September. Now, I'm only going to reveal the ones that are for the month of August. She'll be here on the 2nd of August in Cleveland, Asbury Park for the Can I Trust You, then the LA show on the 17th of 18th, and then of course the homecoming show at Atlantic City for the 24th through the 25th of August. Now, 4 more places were announced, but that will be for another later time. Now, moving on with our developments in the world of pro wrestling. Now, those who are fans of Prestige Wrestling, it was announced by them. As you know, we have their upcoming pay-per-view known as Combat Clash PDX. They'll take place on July 12th. It was just told it's going to be a free show on YouTube. So if you guys have YouTube, go make sure you get notified when that happens. So I may do that one. So we'll see. Now, as you know, for a while we've been hearing how they want WWE are working to get NXT on CW. Apparently, they say they will debut it on October 1st. So I think many of us are looking forward to it. So yes, so it's gonna happen. It's gonna be on a Tuesday, just to let you guys know. Now let's go for some reports on Fightful Select. Corey Graves just talked about what he felt when we saw the Wyatt Six, and of course, people were emotional and all this. This is what he had to say. I was watching it in my bed when Uncle Howdy was revealed. He was started to walk towards the camera. I'm telling you, I know the man behind Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, as well I knew the man behind Bray Wyatt. There was something magical happening when Howdy started walking and hearing the crowd understand what was happening. I got emotional, but Bray was the important so many of us, and everything he created took so much care and so much pride in. It would be a disservice to do anything less than perfection. It was a home run. So basically, he gave like a stamp of approval towards that. So I say it was emotional. I think he kicked it out of the park, but now we're going to see how things are going to go with this. Now, finally, as you know, Fightful Select also reports that that WWE used 12 UK wrestlers from the independents to be part of it, such as, of course, Rio, not Rio, this person who I seen, this woman who I seen a lot in Japan. So she's amongst them. So there's plenty more. So they used 12 wrestlers for that. So it's interesting. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have, of course, AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. So we will see those. However, as we speak, we have the latest New Blood 13. It's been a while since we've seen this show. I'm so excited. This one features, of course, the New Blood tag team titles are on the line. Wingori, consistent of Saya Ida and Hana, defend the belts against the Cosmic Angel rookies, Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. So we'll see how that works out. So I'm looking forward to this event. So I hope you guys too. If I have any other reviews that I want to put in, I'll do them at some point. But as of right now, we'll just leave things as it is and move forward. So as of right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.